There is a moment in every seeker's journey when the silence becomes almost deafening, when the world in its rush and noise begins to lose its color, and all that remains is a subtle pulse inside, an aching question for meaning. Have you ever found yourself wondering whether life is more than the routine you inhabit, whether the events that circle your days carry some deeper thread of intention? Perhaps you sense it in quiet mornings or sleepless nights, a strange feeling that the universe is reaching out to you, whispering a message hidden in the patterns of your reality. This is not mere coincidence. The longing to decode the signs of the universe is ancient, woven into the stories of sages and the discoveries of modern scientists alike. For centuries, thinkers like Carl Jung spoke of synchronicity, the elegant dance of meaningful coincidences, while visionaries such as Joe Dispenza revealed that our inner state is not just a private landscape, but a field of energy, broadcasting and receiving subtle cues from the vast intelligence all around us. In this video, we will explore the mysterious and transformative signals the universe sends when you are truly ready to step into the best chapter of your life. This is not a tale of wishful thinking or blind optimism, but a journey grounded in both spiritual tradition and the latest understandings of neuroscience. Together, we will question, are these signs real or are they products of our longing for connection? How do our internal frequencies act as antennas, allowing us to perceive and respond to opportunities that once seemed invisible? More importantly, what does it truly mean to be ready for the life that is calling us? And how do we bridge the gap between yearning and receiving? The pain of feeling lost or disconnected is real. Many people carry the silent agony of unresolved grief, the weight of past disappointments, or the quiet fear that life is passing by, unlived, the desire for direction, for a sense that the universe is not indifferent, but actively guiding us, pulses beneath every spiritual quest. And yet few are taught how to interpret these signals, how to see the pattern in the chaos, or how to trust their own intuition when the way forward is anything but clear. This journey is not about shortcuts or empty promises, but about cultivating a new sensitivity to the emotions that stir beneath the surface, to the subtle echoes that ripple through everyday moments, and to the possibility that the next step forward may be hidden in what you've long overlooked. Throughout this exploration, we will weave together the insights of science and spirit, drawing from the wisdom of ancient mystics and the revelations of contemporary research. You will be invited to listen deeply, not only to the world around you, but to the intelligence within you. By the end, you may discover that the universe has always been speaking to you, not in shouts, but in gentle, persistent whispers, waiting for the moment you are truly prepared to listen and to act. The signs the universe sends you. When you're ready to change your inner vibration, there are periods in life when the familiar suddenly feels foreign, as if an invisible hand has quietly shifted the world by a few degrees. You may awaken one day and sense a subtle discomfort lingering beneath the surface, a restlessness that cannot be explained by circumstance alone. This sensation, neither pain nor pleasure, signals the beginning of transformation. It is a quiet longing for something more, a sense that the person you have become is out of sync with the life you know. In these moments, it is as if the universe is sending gentle tremors through the foundation of your being, inviting you to notice what has long been ignored, the possibility of a new way of existing. The journey toward changing your internal vibration rarely begins with clarity. More often it starts with confusion, the persistent shadow of old emotions rising unbidden, resentments you thought you had buried, anxieties that haunt your dreams, memories that resurface without warning. Like a storm gathering strength on the horizon, these emotions seem to threaten your peace, yet they are in truth signals, a language the universe uses to call your attention inward. They indicate where your energy is stagnant, where beliefs have solidified into walls, and where your spirit is yearning for release. This discomfort may reveal itself in patterns that repeat, each day echoing the last. You notice that you attract the same kind of relationships, the same disappointments, the same missed opportunities, as if life itself is caught on a loop. The more you struggle to break free through force or denial, the tighter the pattern seems to become. Here the universe does not punish, but teaches. Repetition is its way of highlighting the frequency you inhabit, asking if you are willing to tune in more deeply to what is truly being broadcast from within. The internal landscape is a field of subtle energies, shaped by every thought, every memory, every wound unhealed. Joe Dispenza describes this field as an electromagnetic signature, a blend of emotion and intention that radiates outward and interacts with the infinite intelligence around us. When you are ready to change, the first signal is always internal, a deep discomfort with the status quo, a magnetic pull toward what is unfamiliar but necessary for growth. Dreams become more vivid during these times. Symbols appear, often in patterns that are difficult to ignore. A recurring animal, a number that follows you, a song that plays at just the right moment. These are not coincidences. They are signposts, markers on the journey from old to new. Your body, too, becomes a messenger. You might experience tension in the chest, a heaviness in the limbs, or bursts of unexplained energy. Each sensation is a data point, an invitation to listen with greater care. The brain, so often conditioned to seek comfort in the known, resists this shift. Yet neuroscience reveals that the very act of paying attention to these signals, of consciously noticing and naming your feelings, begins to reshape neural pathways. Patterns of thought that once felt immutable start to loosen, making space for new perceptions and possibilities. The process of changing your internal vibration is not linear. It is an unfolding, sometimes slow and painful, sometimes rapid and exhilarating. Old friends or familiar places may suddenly feel alien. Habits that once soothed now irritate. You find yourself questioning the value of things you once held dear. This is the universe's gentle nudge, urging you to shed what no longer aligns with your emerging self. The most profound changes are often preceded by a period of apparent chaos, as the structures of your life realign to accommodate a higher frequency. This can feel like loss, but it is also liberation, a necessary clearing before new growth can occur. Synchronicities begin to multiply during these transitions. You may think of someone just before they call or stumble upon a book that speaks directly to your struggle. These moments are not accidental. Carl Jung called this phenomenon meaningful coincidence, a sign that your inner world is starting to align with the outer. When you are ready to shift, the universe responds, arranging circumstances that guide you gently toward the unfamiliar. Yet not every sign is dramatic. Sometimes the most powerful signals are the quietest. A subtle shift in mood, a sudden insight in the shower, a lingering feeling that you are not alone in your search. Changing your vibration requires courage, the willingness to stand in the discomfort of the unknown, to feel emotions that are inconvenient or painful, to let go of identities that once brought comfort. But within this space of vulnerability, something new is born. When you answer the call to change, you become like the caterpillar, sensing that its time as a crawling creature is ending. The transformation is not forced, nor can it be rushed. The cocoon is a place of darkness and surrender, a space where the old self dissolves to make way for the wings that will soon emerge. The universe, in its wisdom, sends signals precisely when you are ready, not when you are most comfortable, but when you are most open. As you lean into this process, notice the ways in which your intuition sharpens. The more you listen to the subtle cues, your dreams, your emotions, the patterns that repeat, the more fluent you become in the language of transformation. It is a language without words, a dialogue between your soul and the infinite, shaped by the willingness to feel, to question, to release. Each step forward, however small, is a recalibration. The world may appear unchanged at first, but inside your frequency shifts, altering the kind of experiences you attract and the reality you inhabit. This chapter is not just about enduring discomfort, but about understanding its purpose. The universe is not cruel in its signaling. Every pang of restlessness, every emotional wave, every synchronistic encounter is an invitation to come home to yourself, to embrace the discomfort as a sign that you are growing, to trust that the chaos is clearing a path for something more authentic and aligned. As your vibration shifts, you become both receiver and transmitter, attuned to possibilities that were always present but hidden behind the static of old patterns. Transformation does not require perfection, it requires presence. In the end, to change your vibration is to answer the universe's call not with certainty, but with the quiet conviction that something greater awaits on the other side of your willingness to begin. The signs the universe sends you when the time has come to break. Limiting patterns, change often arrives disguised as repetition. Day after day, the familiar patterns of your life seem to circle back, replaying like an old song whose melody you know by heart, but whose lyrics you wish you could forget. There is a peculiar exhaustion that grows in the soul when faced with these cycles, an ache that whispers, "Not this again." Yet the universe, in its subtle wisdom, uses these repetitions not as punishment, but as guidance. Each loop, each déjà vu, each uncanny return of the same challenge is a sign that the time has come to break through what has long held you in place. The experience of limitation is rarely dramatic at first. More often it is a gradual tightening, a sense of living within invisible walls that seem to shrink the more you attempt to expand. The feeling that opportunities are just out of reach, that relationships repeat the same unspoken conflicts, that no matter how earnestly you strive, results always mirror the past. This is the universe calling your attention to patterns waiting to be broken. The roots of these limitations are often hidden deep within the psyche, woven from childhood memories, inherited beliefs, and silent vows made in moments of pain or disappointment. It is easy to believe that the world itself is refusing to change, but the reality is more subtle. The world reflects back the frequency you project, replaying your inner script with uncanny fidelity. Bruce Lipton, a pioneer in epigenetics, reminds us that most of what governs our actions is subconscious, shaped long before we are aware enough to question it. The stories we tell ourselves about love, about success, about what is possible, become self-fulfilling prophecies. When you are ready to break these patterns, the first sign is the return of old challenges. Only this time you sense that running or hiding is no longer an option. There is an inner readiness, however faint, to face what you have long avoided. Physical sensations often accompany this readiness. You may feel a restless energy in your body, a tension in your shoulders, or a heaviness that lingers even after rest. Sleep becomes erratic, and dreams revisit places you thought you had left behind. These signals are the body's way of alerting you to the presence of unfinished business. Emotions too become more vivid. Frustration, irritation, and even anger rise to the surface, no longer willing to be ignored. Rather than resisting these emotions, consider them as messages encoded with wisdom. The anger at a repeated situation is not a flaw, but a spark of life, a protest against remaining small. In these moments, the universe speaks through your own resistance, showing you where your spirit is pressing against the confines of old conditioning. Opportunities for breakthrough often appear as challenges. Perhaps a relationship reaches a point of crisis, or a job loses its sense of security. At first, these events feel like obstacles, setbacks designed to thwart your progress. Yet beneath the surface, they are invitations to respond in a new way. The universe is not testing you for the sake of struggle, but providing the stage for your next act of courage. When a door closes abruptly, or when someone you relied upon walks away, it is not simply loss. It is a space being created for something different. The trick is to notice the invitation within the setback, to recognize that the discomfort is evidence of impending growth. Awareness alone, however, is not always enough. The pull of the familiar is strong, and the mind clings to the security of old solutions. Many attempt to change their circumstances without addressing the beliefs that shaped them. This is why resolutions fade, why patterns return even after periods of apparent progress. The universe, in its patience, will offer you the same lesson in different disguises until you are willing to look beneath the surface. The most profound sign that you are ready to break a pattern is the moment you stop blaming the external world and begin to examine your own narrative. You start to question, what do I truly believe about myself, about my worth, about what I am allowed to receive? These questions open doors that were once invisible, leading you into the hidden rooms of your consciousness where change can finally take root. Synchronicity also plays a role in this process. Seemingly random events converge in ways that are hard to explain. You overhear a conversation that mirrors your inner struggle, or a book falls from a shelf with the exact message you needed. These moments are not accidents. They are breadcrumbs left by a universe conspiring to help you remember your power. The deeper you lean into your awareness, the more these synchronicities multiply, forming a quiet constellation of guidance. Letting go of limiting patterns is not about waging war against yourself. Rather, it is a gentle acknowledgement of the ways you have tried to keep yourself safe, even as those strategies have outlived their usefulness. The pain of limitation is not punishment, but protection, born from a time when you did not know you were worthy of more. Now, as you stand on the threshold of change, the universe asks not for perfection, but for willingness. Are you willing to feel what you have numbed, to risk disappointment for the sake of authenticity, to believe even for a moment that something else is possible? Inspiration sometimes comes unexpectedly, in the quiet moments after release. A walk in nature, a conversation with a trusted friend, a sudden burst of clarity. These are signs that the pattern is loosening its grip. The river, meeting a stone, does not turn back. It finds a new path, gently reshaping itself around the obstacle. In the same way, your willingness to question the old story creates space for a new flow. The universe responds to every step with fresh possibilities, once hidden behind the repetition of the past. As you move through the discomfort, celebrate the signs of progress, no matter how small. The first honest conversation, the decision to set a boundary, the willingness to seek help. Each act is a break in the pattern, a declaration that you are ready for more. The universe meets you at this edge, offering support in unexpected forms. What was once limitation becomes foundation. What was once a cycle becomes a spiral, carrying you higher with each turn. In this sacred process, the old is not destroyed but integrated, woven into the tapestry of who you are becoming. The signals to break patterns are gifts, reminders that life is not meant to be a closed circle, but an ever-expanding spiral of discovery and freedom. The signs the universe sends you. When it's time to align your choices with your purpose, there are moments when the architecture of your life, so carefully constructed, begins to feel strangely hollow. You follow the rhythms that have always guided you, yet a quiet unease grows, suggesting that the path beneath your feet is no longer the one meant for your soul. This sensation, at first barely perceptible, grows louder with every missed opportunity, every decision that feels like a compromise, every morning that greets you with a dull ache of repetition rather than anticipation. In these times, the universe communicates with increasing clarity, nudging you toward choices that resonate with your deepest truth. The signs may be subtle, almost whispering, or they may roar like thunder, impossible to ignore. Either way, they mark the beginning of a sacred invitation to align your actions, your values, and your vision with the unique calling that only you can fulfill. This alignment often begins with a sense of internal restlessness. The comfort of routine transforms into a subtle discomfort, an itch that cannot be scratched by familiar pleasures or surface-level distractions. You may find yourself questioning the meaning behind your work, your relationships, or your everyday habits. Perhaps you notice a growing tension between what you do and who you sense yourself becoming. This is not failure, it is awakening. The universe stirs the waters of your life, making the old shores uncomfortable so that you might search for a new harbor. Gregg Braden speaks of a divine matrix, an energetic web connecting all things, where intention and outcome are inseparably linked. When your actions stray from your core intention, the matrix sends feedback in the form of discomfort and longing, not as punishment, but as guidance. Doors begin to close. Paths that once brought satisfaction start to lose their appeal. Opportunities that seemed promising reveal themselves as dead ends, their rewards no longer lighting the fire they once did. This phase is often marked by the ending of relationships, the loss of roles, or the sudden collapse of plans you once cherished. While the mind may interpret these events as setbacks, the soul recognizes them as essential clearings. The universe does not empty your hands to leave you empty, but to prepare you for something more aligned. In this space of loss and uncertainty, the invitation is to pause and listen. What is being called forth from you? What dreams have you silenced for the sake of belonging, security, or approval? Amidst the confusion, new impulses begin to arise. You might feel drawn to activities or studies that once seemed irrelevant. Conversations with strangers spark a sense of recognition, as if the universe is using unexpected messengers to deliver hints about your next step. Books appear at the right moment. Music lyrics capture your mood with uncanny precision, and symbols repeat until their message is impossible to dismiss. These synchronicities are not random. They are coordinates in the map of your becoming, clues to the direction your soul longs to travel. Physically, this realignment may show up as fatigue or a lack of motivation for things that once energized you. At the same time, you may notice surges of excitement or creativity when contemplating new directions, however uncertain they appear. The nervous system is finely attuned to authenticity. When you live in harmony with your purpose, your body responds with vitality, clarity, and a sense of flow. When you stray, symptoms arise, headaches, anxiety, or a persistent heaviness. Rather than resisting these signals, consider them as guideposts. They are not obstacles to be overcome, but invitations to reconnect with the part of yourself that remembers why you are here. Decision-making takes on a new quality during these periods. You may discover that choices which once seemed obvious now demand deeper reflection. The question shifts from "what do I want" to "what feels most true," or "what honors the deepest part of who I am." This is the work of aligning your will with your wisdom, of integrating emotion and intention so that your actions become a seamless expression of your authentic self. The process is rarely quick or easy. It demands patience, honesty, and the willingness to let go of the known in favor of the meaningful. Sometimes fear arises, a fear of disappointing others, of stepping into the unknown, of leaving behind identities that once brought you comfort. Yet, these fears are also signs, signals that you are standing at the edge of your growth. The universe supports this courage, often in ways you cannot predict. Old friends may leave, but new companions arrive who mirror your evolving values. Projects fall apart, but new opportunities appear as if by magic, aligned with your growing clarity. The path is not always visible beyond the next step, but with each choice made in alignment, the landscape of your life transforms. The ancient wisdom keepers spoke of the garden within, a sacred space where the seeds of purpose are sown and nurtured. When you align your choices with your inner garden, tending to your dreams and passions as one tends to a delicate plant, life responds in kind. Flowers bloom in unexpected places, and the fruit of your labor nourishes not just yourself but others as well. Purpose is not a single achievement, but a living process, a constant tending, an ongoing conversation between you and the universe. As you move deeper into this alignment, a quiet joy replaces anxiety. You wake with a sense of possibility, aware that each day offers the chance to choose anew. Regret softens, replaced by gratitude for the lessons learned on roads that no longer serve you. The universe continues to send signs, new ideas, gentle nudges, and even challenges to keep you honest, to call you back when you wander. There is no final arrival, only a growing intimacy with your own truth and a willingness to follow where it leads. In the end, the signs that it is time to align your choices with your purpose are as much about feeling as about logic. They are the tug at your heart when you witness injustice, the spark of hope when you imagine a different future, the peace that settles in when you make even the smallest decision in service of what matters most. The universe does not demand perfection, only sincerity. Each day is a new chance to listen, to align, to move closer to the life that is waiting for you. A life in which your actions become a living prayer, a testimony to the unique melody you alone can play in the symphony of existence. The signs the universe sends you when you are ready to receive abundance, in the quiet aftermath of letting go, when old patterns have been dissolved and the path ahead is illuminated by a new sense of purpose, something remarkable often begins to occur. Life itself seems to soften at the edges, as if the universe is opening hidden doors you could not have seen before. The air feels lighter, synchronicities multiply, and the boundaries of limitation that once hemmed you in start to dissolve. This shift is not simply a result of changed circumstances, but a reflection of a transformed internal landscape. When you are truly ready to receive abundance, in any of its forms, the universe sends unmistakable signals, inviting you to move beyond the familiar narrative of scarcity and embrace a reality where fulfillment is not only possible, but natural. The first signal that you are prepared for abundance often emerges as an unshakable sense of worthiness. Where once you may have questioned your value or doubted your ability to receive good things, a quiet confidence takes root. This is not arrogance, but a deep acknowledgement that you, like all beings, are an expression of the infinite, inherently deserving of joy, peace, and prosperity. The inner critic softens, replaced by a voice of gentle encouragement. Self-sabotage, once a familiar companion, loses its grip as you begin to recognize how much energy was spent resisting what you truly desire. In its place, a new willingness to receive arises, not with desperation or grasping, but with openness and gratitude. This newfound worthiness alters the frequency you emit into the world. Where fear and doubt once contracted your energy, appreciation and trust now expand it. You notice that small blessings arrive without effort. A friend offers support at just the right moment. Opportunities materialize unexpectedly. Financial worries begin to resolve, and even the rhythm of daily life feels more harmonious. These are not coincidences, but reflections of your shifted vibration. Joe Dispenza has written that gratitude is the state of receivership, an energetic alignment that signals to the universe, "I am ready and willing to accept more." Abundance does not always announce itself in grand gestures. More often, it tiptoes in on the feet of simplicity, a compliment received with grace, a new connection forged from authenticity, the peaceful feeling that arises from being at home in your own skin. Yet, the journey toward abundance is not a straight line. Old habits and beliefs may resurface, testing your resolve. The mind, conditioned to equate struggle with virtue, sometimes resists the ease that abundance brings. You might catch yourself searching for reasons to reject gifts, dismissing compliments or downplaying your achievements. These moments are not failures, but opportunities to reaffirm your readiness. Each time you notice the impulse to turn away from abundance, you reclaim a fragment of your power. Over time, a new narrative takes shape, one in which giving and receiving exist in effortless balance, and the universe is seen as a generous partner rather than a reluctant gatekeeper. Physical signs of readiness for abundance often appear as a sense of expansion in the body. The chest feels open, the breath deepens, and a subtle warmth or tingling may ripple through you during moments of connection or gratitude. There is less urgency and more presence, less anxiety and more trust. This embodied state signals to your nervous system that it is safe to receive, dissolving the old patterns of vigilance that kept you trapped in cycles of scarcity. You may also find that your creative energy increases, manifesting as new ideas, artistic expression, or inspired problem-solving. The flow of abundance is not limited to material wealth. It encompasses all areas of life: health, love, opportunities, insights, and a pervasive sense of well-being. The external world reflects this shift in myriad ways. You may notice unexpected windfalls, or perhaps resources arrive just as you need them. Relationships improve, marked by deeper honesty and mutual support. Obstacles that once seemed insurmountable yield to persistence and patience. Even setbacks become teachers, offering valuable lessons rather than defeat. The universe rewards trust with greater trust. Meeting each step you take with support and encouragement, the journey becomes less about striving and more about allowing, less about control and more about partnership. A profound aspect of receiving abundance is the willingness to let go of comparison and competition. In a world that often teaches lack and rivalry, abundance flourishes when you celebrate the successes of others as if they were your own. This shift from scarcity to solidarity dissolves jealousy, replacing it with genuine happiness for the good fortune of those around you. The garden of abundance is vast, and every soul has a unique flower to cultivate. When you step into this truth, you become a channel for abundance, both giving and receiving with equal joy. The most powerful sign that you are ready to receive abundance is an abiding sense of gratitude, not for what might come in the future, but for what is present now. Gratitude is the fertile soil in which abundance grows, nurturing a state of receptivity that is both humble and empowered. You begin to see every experience, even those that challenge or wound you, as an essential part of your journey. With this perspective, abundance loses its conditional nature and becomes a state of being. You are no longer chasing something outside yourself. You are living from a fullness that is always available. Ultimately, receiving abundance is an act of trust. Trust in yourself, in the universe, and in the interconnected web of life that supports you in ways both visible and unseen. As you move forward, guided by the signals of openness, gratitude, and authentic self-worth, you discover that the universe has always been willing to give. The only question was whether you were willing to receive. And now, with each breath, each act of kindness, and each moment of acceptance, you embody the truth that abundance is not something to be earned or won, but a birthright to be claimed. The universe, ever generous, meets your readiness with gifts beyond measure, and your life becomes a living testament to the endless possibilities that unfold when you say yes to receiving. As this journey draws to a close, a gentle truth emerges. The universe has always been speaking, patiently sending signs and whispers meant to guide you back to your own center. These signals, whether disguised as discomfort, loss, unexpected opportunities, or the quiet blossoming of gratitude, are never arbitrary. Each one is an invitation, sometimes subtle, sometimes thunderous, to deepen your awareness, question your patterns, and step courageously into the unknown. Transformation is not a destination to be reached, but a living process, as intricate and mysterious as the unfolding of a flower. The pain of repetition, the ache of longing, the surge of joy that follows authentic action, each experience shapes your path, teaching you to recognize the delicate interplay between intention and surrender. Joe Dispenza teaches that when the mind, heart, and body are aligned, we become creators in harmony with the infinite. Napoleon Hill reminds us that desire, when coupled with faith and clarity, is the seed of all achievement. Greg Braden points to a universe woven of connection, where your thoughts and feelings ripple outward, shaping the very fabric of reality. These teachings converge on a single point. The signs you encounter are not meant to be feared or idolized, but to be noticed and integrated as guidance. Your readiness to receive abundance, to break patterns, to choose purpose, is not a matter of luck or talent. It is a question of presence, of being awake to the moments when life itself is inviting you forward, whether through challenge or blessing. Let yourself linger in this awareness. What if the universe, with all its vastness and mystery, is conspiring in your favor, waiting only for your willingness to listen and respond? The journey is not always linear or easy, but each step taken in trust brings you closer to the best phase of your life, a phase defined not by external achievement, but by the richness of your own becoming. May you walk forward with curiosity, humility, and the deep assurance that every sign, no matter how small, is a thread in the tapestry of your unfolding purpose. Now, a question for you. As you reflect on the signs the universe may be sending, what is the one message you sense you've been ignoring but can no longer turn away from? Let this question settle in your heart as you continue your journey. If this video resonated with you, subscribe to the channel to stay connected with future insights and inspiration. And don't stop here. Keep nurturing your transformation by watching the next video, now playing on your screen. Your journey is just beginning.